back, dearies. It's Menopause Barbie, your menopause tailor, enlightening you with another matter pertaining to menopause. This is video number 221, and it's on herbal options for preventing osteoporosis. I cover everything in units, and we're in the middle of a huge unit on osteoporosis. In my book, whether you have the first edition or the second edition, the material for today is in chapter 29 under the heading Botanical and Herbal Options. So this is the 26th video on osteoporosis. If you're just joining us, you have a lot of catching up to do. The structure of this education is that I teach you all the facts first. That way you know the basics. Then I present all the options for managing your menopause. It's just like learning the alphabet before you try learning to read. So in this osteoporosis unit, I taught you the facts from video 196 to video 210. And then in video 211, I started teaching you about your management options for preventing osteoporosis and fractures. So far, I've given you options in the categories of lifestyle, exercise, diet, vitamins, and minerals. And today, it's time to address your options in the category of herbs. Now, since we've already covered dietary options in video 216, this video will address herbal options that are not in the form of foods. Instead, we'll be talking about loose herbs, teas, tinctures, herbs compressed into tablets, and herbal products sold for menopause relief. Things that you can buy at a vitamin shop. So, reflecting back to the very first osteoporosis video, which was video 196, estrogen loss is what causes bone loss. So when it comes to your herbal options for preventing bone loss, we need to consider those herbs that contain estrogen. And the only herbs that actually contain estrogen are isoflavones, red clover, licorice root, hops, and wild yams. So we'll address each of these to assess whether or not any or all of them can help prevent bone loss. The first one is isoflavones. Isoflavones constitute the largest category of phytoestrogens, and you learned way back in videos 25 through 30 that phytoestrogens are very weak plant sources of estrogen. They are made from soy. And although all phytoestrogens are weak, isoflavones are the strongest of the herbal forms of estrogen. Isoflavones are available in many different herbal forms. Here I have capsules and a tincture. So these products consist of soy converted into a solid capsule or a liquid extract. In video 216 on dietary options for preventing osteoporosis, you learned that a lifelong habit of eating soy could actually decrease your risk of osteoporosis. So do you think you can do the same thing with these products that are made from soy? Recall that I have told you on many occasions that vitamins, minerals, and supplements that are in a bottle are never as effective as those that are in food. And here we have a perfect example of that. While ingesting soy foods over the course of a lifetime can help prevent osteoporosis, taking these herbal supplements out of a bottle cannot. So do not make the mistake of thinking that you can pop a soy isoflavone pill like this and get the benefit of soy itself. That kind of thinking is not realistic. So, if it comes from a plant, it's a viable option. If it was made in a plant, it isn't. The next estrogen-containing herb to consider is red clover. Here I have the raw herb, capsules, and a tincture. Now, red clover is not as potent as the isoflavones. You'll find it as an ingredient in a large number of menopause formulations that you can buy over the counter. But do not make the mistake of assuming that it can do more than it's capable of doing. It cannot prevent bone loss, so it cannot prevent osteoporosis. For that purpose, it's really not an option. Next is licorice root. As the actual root, the herb, a capsule, and a tincture. There are so many different forms, and it's easy to find licorice root, but unfortunately, it will not help you prevent osteoporosis. Once again, using it to prevent bone loss is a waste of your efforts. That constitutes expecting it to do something that it simply cannot do. Next is hops. I only have the raw herb on this one. Hops happens to be one of the highest estrogen binding herbs. And while there is one reference indicating that it can help prevent osteoporosis, it's sort of a long shot. If you really need to prevent osteoporosis, you definitely should not count on hops to do it. The consequences of it not working are just too great, and there are so many other things that will do a much better and more reliable job. So don't expect hops to save your bones. Finally, we have wild yam. Wild yam is everywhere, as the actual root, the herb, a powder, capsules, tincture, and even gels. You learned in video 39 that wild yam contains estrogen, not progesterone. And you know that your bone loss is due to estrogen loss, not progesterone loss. And with all the wild yam products so readily available and so prominently marketed, you would hope that it could prevent bone loss. But it can't. Sorry. Once again, do not expect wild yam to do something it cannot do. Now, there is one herb that can improve your bone health in general, but it does not prevent bone loss. It's green tea. So drink all the green tea you want. It's good for you in a number of ways, but don't overestimate its abilities either. Isn't this disappointing? What this means is that you cannot count on any herbal products to prevent osteoporosis. Doing so would leave you at very high risk of bone loss and fracture. You know, it's really shocking how much people want to believe that a product can do more than it really can. It is so common for women to assume that they can get results from an option that cannot deliver those desired results. It's like having a false expectation. You know, like expecting your 2-year-old to make dinner or expecting water to remove your nail polish. That reminds me. You know, I come from a very goofy family. We're always doing odd things that normal families don't do, especially my big brother, Ron. And way back in the 1970s, when Ron was about 14, we were all startled when Ron started yelling from the laundry room. But he wasn't just yelling as in screaming. He was yelling, "Get out! Get out! Get out right now!" Everyone in the family went charging to the laundry room to see what was going on. We all expected to find something like an animal in the laundry room, or maybe even a human intruder. But when we got to the laundry room, there was nothing of the sort. Instead, Ron was standing in front of the washing machine, facing the machine, and draped on top of the machine was a garment. And he was shouting at the garment. I mean, at the item of clothing, as if it were human and could understand him. So we were all quite perplexed, and we asked him what he was doing. And with a perfectly straight face, he turned to us, holding up this product. And he said, "This shirt has a stain in it, and I'm shouting it out." You see, this is a stain removal product, and it just so happens to be called Shout. And all the television commercials for this product used the nifty slogan, "Shout it out." So Ron was shouting it out. Of course, shouting at the stain could not get it out, despite what the TV commercials had said. But the whole incident is a perfect example of overestimating the abilities of a product, or in this case, a whole category of options. So, trying to use herbs to prevent bone loss is like trying to remove a stain by shouting at the garment. They can't do what you're expecting, so don't overestimate their abilities. The bottom line is that herbs are a category of options that really offer nothing in terms of preventing osteoporosis. That means you need to rely on all the other categories of options. Just know the limitations of each option. That is the key to success in managing your menopause your way. Being realistic about what each option can and cannot do. Okay, that's it. Next week, we'll delve into hormonal options for preventing osteoporosis. And you'll really need to watch that video. Go to menopausetailor.me to schedule consultations. Be sure to subscribe. Follow me on social media, and I'll see you in a week. Bye.